Pentacle chapter 17. Eight of Cups. He looked at the time, and since he was afraid of facing Kain, decided to return the jacket tomorrow. The following morning came, and Oberon had not slept a wink, and his night had been filled with foreboding thoughts. And he got dressed for work, and since he was half asleep, he kept swirling to the side every so often. And he meekly arrived to the edge of the pool to speak with Eugenia. And sitting beside her was her fiancé Santiago, and he was at home in the morning for a change. And this was unusual. And Oberon asked, "And did you finally finish your exams?" "And what are you doing here, Oberon? Today is Saturday," said Eugenia. "Is it?" asked Oberon, feeling foolish. "That jacket is a little too big for you," commented Dorothy, looking up from her book. "It belongs to Kain," said Oberon, petting it lovingly. "Did you finally break him? Oh, please do tell me all the dirty details," ordered Dorothy. "No, we got in a stupid fight and I broke up with him," said Oberon. "The longer you take to apologize, the harder it is going to be for you to get back with him," said Eugenia. "Tell me, Eugenia, why did you break up with Kain?" asked Oberon. "I didn't love him, but he loved me. It wasn't fair for him to continue in a loveless relationship, and Kain is not like Santiago that can handle being with someone who doesn't love him," said Eugenia coldly. "And before you feel sorry for him, let me tell you that he doesn't care much for me either. Is this all because I didn't go with you to see the sex of the babies?" as Santiago folded his arm. "I thought you had exams that days, and we could have moved the other date." "I looked at all your syllabus, and you didn't have exams that day," said Eugenia. "It was a surprise exam. Professor Pyron is fond of those little surprises," said Santiago. I suppose," said Eugenia, choosing to believe the lies. "Are you going to go then, or are you expecting overtime hours?" asked Santiago, focusing on the attention on Oberon. Oberon opened his cell phone, before closing it again, and since Oberon wasn't going to call, Eugenia took the initiative, and she called Kain up on her cell phone, and Kain picked up after the first ringtone. "Kain, there's an idiot standing here beside me who wants to tell you something," said Eugenia before giving Oberon her phone. Oberon didn't say anything, and he felt his mouth dry. And Kain heard Oberon breathing, and he said dourly, "What do you want to say?" I see you, let's get back together. It was a stupid fight, and I was tense because my father was there, and I really needed, but that's not important anymore, and I should have been more sensitive. I'm sorry," said Oberon, scratching his head. Bruno, who was eavesdropping, whispered to Kain, "If you forgive that fool right away, he's just going to walk all over you again when the mood strikes him." "I want to forgive you, I really do, but I can't," said Kain while tears rolled down his cheeks. Bruno closed Kain's cell phone to end the call, and the last thing Oberon heard was Kain crying. And after hearing this, Oberon drove to Kain's house and allowed his father and grandmother didn't allow him to enter within. And like Bruno, they were of the opinion that a reconciliation should not be given so easily. Oberon knocked on Kain's window, and the youth wasn't there. He then drove to Karina's house, and Bruno guessed in this mood took Kain to paint at Sebastiano's artist collective. And for the entire day, Bruno amused himself by giving Oberon the runabout, and he took a sick, twisted pleasure in outsmarting Oberon by always having Kain be in another house or venue. Night eventually came, and Oberon returned home to eat leftovers from the day before, and he was still sporting Kain's jacket. And once again he tried to search for Kain, and he got on his car and he drove to all of the homes of Kain's friends and family. And little did he guess that his boyfriend was hiding in the house of Jack's boss. How could he apologize if he wasn't given the chance? Sunday came, and he was still nowhere near close to reconciliation, and it was then when he remembered his sister, and she had a phone and an unfamiliar voice. "I need your help, Veronica," called Oberon sullenly, and Veronica drove there immediately, and she arrived after a 2-hour drive, and her family lived further up north in Hollywood, Florida. "What happened?" asked Veronica when she turned up. "And did your test came back positive?" "What test?" asked Oberon, confused. Never mind," said Veronica, shaking her head. "So what do you need help with?" "I need your cell phone," said Oberon. "A second thought, you call him." "Call who, Dad?" asked Veronica. "No, I think I better explain the problem from the beginning. I got in a stupid fight with Kain, and now he refuses to see me, and I've been chasing him all over Miami, but he's always in another house," said Oberon. "Did you cheat on him already?" asked Veronica. "No," lied Oberon. Oberon, repeated Veronica. We had already broken up, so it doesn't count as cheating, barked Oberon, folding his arms. And now you want him back, asked Veronica. It was a mistake, a stupid, impulsive mistake, repeated Oberon. Like father, like son, said Veronica. And not like my father, barked Oberon, and he had a growing sunburn. Me throwing Kain out of my home and breaking up with him. It was a completely different from when my own father threw me out, and Kain, he... You can't believe whatever helps you sleep at night, mused Veronica. Everything she did and said was now focused on her long-term goal of reuniting the family, and she was tired of living two separate lives, one with her brother and the other with the rest of her family, and she fancied that if her father and brother reconciled, then the others would follow in suit. Oberon grew somber, and the more he thought about it, the more he fancied that he was just like his father, and his father had rejected him because of his sexuality, while Oberon had rejected Kain for showing resistance to him in the bedchambers. I'm just the worst, said Oberon. No, you're not. It is human to sin, big brother. I am not perfect and you are not perfect, but that is all right, and as long as there is love and the desire to change, then there is hope, said Veronica, placing her hand on her brother's shoulder, and she picked up her cell phone before saying, I am going to call Kain for you, and can you give me his number? Oberon gave Veronica Kain's number, and after 5 hesitant ringtones, Malik answered the phone. Veronica? Hey, is Kain home? I heard from my brother that he's a computer guy, and I'm trying to log into my computer, but it's not accepting my password, like Veronica. Did you try opening it up in safe mode, said Kain, who was listening since the cell phone was on speaker. On what? Asked Veronica, pretending not to understand. She continued to pretend to be confused, and in the end Kain said, and if you bring your computer over to Maddie's house, I can have it fixed for you in a jiffy. Oh, thank you, Kain, and you really saved my hide, and there's some important Word documents that I need for Monday, said Veronica, hamming in the lie. With this lie, Veronica got the address from Malik's home, and she got in the car, and her brother hid in the back seat. And she changed the password on her laptop in order to turn her lie into a reality. And Malik took an instant liking to Veronica, and she found him amusing as well. And she liked his intense green eyes. While Kain fixed the computer, she casually flirted with Malik, and she was reminded of her mission when she saw her cell phone vibrating. I had to go to the bathroom, and can you show me where it is? Asked Veronica. I can show you to the bathroom, said Malik solicitous, and he added, giving a sly smile. And while we're there, I can show you other things as well. Honestly, brother, said Ariel, shaking her head sadly, I will show you to the bathroom. Ariel took Veronica's hand to guide her to the bathroom, and as soon as she was alone, Veronica went to the front door and she unlocked it. And Oberon tiptoed into the house, and he smiled when he saw Kain in the living room, and if possible, he wanted to have a conversation alone with him. Intruder! Yelled Ariel at the top of her lungs. What, where? By Kain, bringing out his revolver. And from the other side of the hallway, Malik showed up brandishing his bat. Oh, it's just you, said Malik, lowering his bat. False alarm, it is just a tick. I'm sorry for tricking you, but you understand me, don't you, dear Malik? And I will do anything for my big brother just the same way that you will do anything for your sweet baby sister, said Veronica, lowering her head and crossing her fingers. She did this whenever she was pretending to be sorry for what she did, and only Oberon knew that she wasn't being sincere. No harm done, said Malik, laughing. And when Malik and Veronica chatted, Oberon and Kain went to the patio to talk, and the first thing that Oberon did was return the jacket, and Kain fidgeted with the jacket nervously before setting it down on the lawn chair, and an eerie silence followed. And Oberon was the first to break the silence by asking, when you gave me that ring, what was it supposed to mean? The ring was supposed to keep you in suspense, said Kain, turning his gaze. And when my grandpa started dating my grandma, he gave her a ring with no explanation. And one day she asked him if it was an engagement ring, and he told her that the ring could mean whatever she wanted. And my grandma took it as an offense, and she didn't speak to my grandpa for almost 3 months. That is a long time to hold a grudge, said Oberon, laughing sheepishly. It was a different time. People took longer to court and get married, said Kain. So how long do you plan on making me work for it? Asked Oberon, drawing closer. Just until you gave me irrefutable proof of your devotion to me, said Kain, taking a step back. And pray do tell me, what type of proof do you require? I said Oberon, giving another step forward. Oberon, I think we should see other people, and it was a nice dream we had, but it was time we wake up before any feelings are hurt. We function better as friends, said Kain before his back touched the wall. I like us better as lovers, said Oberon, placing his hand against the wall, and he had Kain cornered, and this greatly excited him. You only like me because you haven't had me yet, and as soon as you sleep with me, you will lose all interest in me, said Kain, turning his head. And I'm here for your body, Kain, said Oberon, caressing the sweet limbs he found so tempting. And he kissed them before saying, I like the food you make for me. I like how you pamper me whenever I'm sick. And I like sleeping inside your big, hulking arms. And I like the way we dance. And I like watching boring movies with you. I like talking sweet nonsense with you. And I like that you read to me whenever I'm having difficulties falling asleep. And as for the other things, I see it as a cherry on top of our relationship. The cherry isn't the most important part of the sundae, said Kain before gulping. And wouldn't we be better off if we removed it completely from the equation? Owen took a step back before asking, why don't you like sex? It isn't that I dislike it, it is just that I haven't had the same lover that has enjoyed sleeping with me. I haven't had a single lover that has enjoyed sleeping with me, said Kain. Eugenia dumped me because she got bored of me, and she was far too experienced, and she didn't have the patience to teach me what she liked. And with Karina it was more of the same, and she left me as soon as Bruno showed her a good time. Karina isn't a succubus, said Malik, popping his head into the porch. And if you keep talking about her behind her back, I am telling on you. I'm sorry, said Kain. Well, you should be. You are not the most easy person to deal with, said Malik, scratching his raven hair. Yay, go easy on him. He has been through a lot, said Oberon, defending Kain, and he placed his hands around his boyfriend's shoulders protectively. As have we all, and it is a miracle we made it to adulthood. And you should be thankful that the biggest problem in your life goes by the name of Oberon, said Malik, trying to put it in perspective. And the fact of the matter is that you're afraid or repressed or both, so stop using Karina and Eugenia as excuses. Do you still have the whatever ring? Asked Oberon, placing his hand on Kain's pocket. And Kain trembled since Oberon's searching hand had caressed something else. And Oberon giggling continued to search in that same pocket, and he found it amusing to see Kain's face turning as red as a tomato, and Kain's eyes then turned glassy. And he held on to Oberon's hand before hissing, They are shooting in the house, control yourself. Ah, you're no fun, said Evia, who had her face glued to the glass. Adults are talking, barked Malik. But I do think we should get it out of the way already. And if I fail to please you, we can go back to being friends, said Oberon, taking his hand out of Kain's pocket. I suppose that is what it all comes down to, said Kain, sighing with frustration. And we don't have to do it today if you don't want to. Just test me if you're ever in the mood this century or the next, joked Oberon, and he extended his hand before adding, Are you ready to come home, baby? Kain took the hand before drawing Oberon into an embrace, and as long as he was inside Oberon's arm, everything felt alright in his world. And he brought out from his back pocket the ring, and Oberon wore the ring, and he examined it under the sunlight. And he was feeling particularly lucky tonight. Alright, that's the end of that chapter. Bye-bye and God bless.